So we've got some brand new updates from the Outriders team that yes, the biggest patch to date is coming up here soon and is being worked on right now. And we're going to go over this thread right here. We have an extensive reply from the Square Enix community manager going over what's going to be happening next with Outriders. Plus, we're going to be clearing up some recent misinformation about that combat puzzle quote. You guys may remember that one. So we're going to dive in right now. Hey everyone, what's happening? Open World Games here, hope you're doing good, and let's do this. All right, first of all, starting with the official news. Let's take a look at this thread right here. This was posted by Presto Jams 45. He says, This People Can Fly response to the widespread multiplayer rubber banding, skill glitching, and mods not working is completely disheartening. And his thread reads as follows. Our metrics indicate there are no widespread problems impacting the entire community. And he's quoting, of course, the recent comments from the community manager. Says ping times are acceptable. There will definitely be cases where some players encounter issues. That entire comment reads like a kick in the gut. It reads like People Can Fly has no idea how bad and frankly unplayable multiplayer is. Do they even play their own game? Me nor any of my friends nor anyone on Reddit I've spoken to has ever played a single multiplayer game not as a host where they haven't experienced ammo mods not working, ridiculous rubber banding, on-kill effects not registering, cyclone resulting in you being locked in place even after the skill ends, time shift straight up not working, hunt the prey often bugging out much more than SP. It still bugs out a lot in SP, I'm going to say that. People Can Fly not acknowledging these obvious issues and not stating publicly that these issues are a priority and instead posting a comment which blows them off and acts like they are a fringe experience. This has pretty much destroyed the last bit of confidence I had in this game. Let's take a look at the reply. So this comes from Square Enix community manager Theracan. They say this, hey there, a bigger follow-up patch is coming, as has been mentioned a few times throughout our previous mega threads. Pasted the latest information below, patches. Our team is continuing to work hard on upcoming patches to address a variety of bugs and performance improvements, as well as a few other things. More news on these soon. Balancing. As an additional small note, we haven't forgotten your feedback on previous balance changes and are working on a post to provide more background on past changes and our overall balancing plans for the game. We'll share an update with you in the near future. Now, he goes on to say the next patch will be our biggest patch to date and will address a lot of the issues you are seeing. It's currently undergoing testing and I'm working through the patch notes for it and we'll share news on its release when we know it will land. So it's good news that they are in the testing phase for this patch for sure. They're working on the patch notes right now, so they're making progress with this big patch. And you guys remember that he just said that's going to be the biggest patch to date. So I'm crossing my fingers that a lot of the issues that you guys are facing currently with this game kind of die off and you could really begin to enjoy the game as is. Of course, my personal opinion is this. A lot of game companies need to consider doing an offline mode, even if it's temporary, during the launch of a game. I don't know if that's possible or not, but I think that would be cool to see. Now, what about that recent combat puzzles article? You guys may remember this post right here. It says why Outriders solo players don't get self-revives. And basically, what was said in the interview with People Can Fly is that, they wanted the actual battlegrounds to be like combat puzzles. And there were so many memes related to this statement. We're going to take a look at the new response about this. Let's take a look. It says, as for the response to Chromion, please note that you did lift individual sentences rather than the message as a whole, which warps the intent of the reply. To quote my latest clarification on the reply in question. Now, here's the combat puzzle thing that we're going to get into in just a moment. But he says this, I also want to reiterate that this reply is not refuting that some players are experiencing problems with co-op. Rather, this reply is intended to explain the kind of information we need in order to better understand and resolve the issues you are facing. All right, let's get on to the combat puzzle response first and foremost. It says the combat puzzle response, as mentioned here, was in fact not our response to an existing situation. Rather, the interview information had been previously banked by the news outlet, possibly during launch day interviews, who then released it at a later time. This is standard practice, but in this case, it unfortunately looked like a response to the situation at hand, which it was not. All our responses to date we've posted here on Reddit first and not in a news article. So, it's interesting basically the article in question was saying that they weren't interested in doing solo revives. However, I'm not too sure if that has changed or not. It could be that this might be updated, so hold on, we might have news about that in the future. Hopefully we get some sort of solo revives or checkpoint system for expeditions in solo play. I personally think that would be really, really cool. All right, now furthermore, he says, if we haven't been more communicative on certain issues this past week, it's because we do not want to detract from the ongoing inventory restoration, but it does not mean things are being ignored or swept under the rug, as I'm sure you will realize once the next patch releases. Added to clarify on this last paragraph, the most effective communications we do are on our mega threads and updates, which I count to now be 14 since demo launch. 5 of those in the 3 weeks since the launch. Now he says, well, I do reply to in threads, just as I am here. More comprehensive news updates and fix confirmations will always be mega threaded, mainly because a reply such as this is inherently less visible than a fresh thread. So there you have that update as well. You know, they've been doing a lot with, I think, communicating with the community, trying their best. This launch did not go as planned. Of course, that's how it is with a lot of online games, of course, but you guys did bring up I think it's called Remnant game. I've never honestly tried it, which had a really smooth launch for the most part. So it is possible to launch a game smoothly, apparently. So it would be nice to see them fix this game, get it addressed, and then we can get into the cool stuff, talking about future expansions and that sort of thing. Now, we have additional replies, official replies, so let's get into those right now, shall we? Yep, Kaye says, I am curious, are you trying to suggest that the sputtering and lag everyone is experiencing is our connections? And Therakan replied from Square Enix, he says, not as such, I'm saying that the problems you are facing are not present across the entire online population as far as we can tell, bearing in mind that there are hundreds of thousands of players. That doesn't mean your problems don't exist or that they are your fault. It just means we need more information to specifically address them. And then he replies, well, that is a much better answer. Is Outriders completely peer-to-peer? And this is fascinating. It says, the multiplayer component is peer-to-peer with a relay server for most connections. However, direct tunneling is enabled for certain platforms where a better ping can be achieved by avoiding the relay. Interesting stuff, but the biggest question is, which platforms does that apply to crossplay? So I'm curious which platforms benefit from that for sure. I'm wondering, you know, what do you guys think? Sound off. Now let's go over some of the inventory restoration issues as well. We have a reply here about that from Ryuza, I believe it is. He says, I'm part of Group A, and the limit of 20 items being restored concerns me. He's quoting the restoration article. It says, additionally, because we can conclusively identify these characters as having been wiped, we can grant them a total of 20 previously acquired items that were in their inventory, with the first prioritization based on rarity, descending from epic rarity, and second prioritization based on date acquired. It says, my character's inventory was pretty full and my stash had at least 75 items in it. Getting only my legendaries plus 20 other items seems very weak, especially considering the date of acquisition may not matter. Some of the recent drops may have been very valuable, but if I had something for a long time, I probably wanted to keep it. Thoughts? And we got a reply from the community manager, who goes on to say the following. You'll get the rares back first. If you had 15 epics and 20 rares, you'll get back 15 epics as well as 5 rares. If you had 20 plus epics, then you would be getting 20 epics back, starting with the most recently acquired ones. Even if you acquired an epic that was 5 levels lower than your current level, you'd be getting that epic back at your current level, God rolled, if it was within the most recent list of 20. So you're basically getting actually better weapons in some way. So that is actually really cool. That's something I think is good that they are actually doing that. And then on top of this, we should be getting an appreciation package as well, remember, and then the titanium is going to be included in there in the legendary, in the appreciation package. No date on this stuff yet. We need dates. That's the only thing we're looking at here. Now, Xenotech says this, mods and materials should be shared across all characters. And a lot of people agree with this one of the more upvoted topics here. It says all mods and materials should be shared between all characters. I mean, yeah, the class specific mods not for a good reason, but everything else. If we can anyway put mods on other items, give it to our other characters, then we should simply make it without any workarounds. There's no reason to not let it simply be shared. So a lot of you guys want to see like a shared bank system, I guess you would say, between all of your characters instead of going through the process of putting into your stash and that sort of thing. So yeah, it's definitely interesting for sure. Maybe they can actually do this in the future, but I'm gonna say I doubt it. I would not hold your breath in regards to that. Now we have this one right here. Paradigm says this: spending 20 minutes in one expedition only to get one shot and get some welfare blue items is the most unsatisfying gameplay loop I've ever seen in a very long time. 711 upvotes. A lot of you guys are still going through this. It shows how much, you know, damage and work he put into his character and that expedition only to get one shot like that is a pain in the butt. But, you know, this new patch, considering it's one of the biggest patch that's upcoming, I'm curious to see what these new balance changes are going to be. I think there's going to be a lot of quality of life adjustments with the game in terms of enemy balance, and I do hope with the expeditions. All right, you know what time it is. It's time for your top comments. Let's do this. Let's take a look at what you guys had to say about this video. Right here, it says, a big warning about legendary loot farming tactics, plus boost your DPS. So let's do this. You can watch that video. It's pretty cool because it gives insight into how legendary loot is actually spread throughout the game. And if you're hyper focused on hunt missions, you're not going to be getting everything you need. You're going to have to spread out your gameplay through expeditions. Expeditions are going to be where most of the loot pool is going to be the good stuff. So that's what I was warning you guys about right there. Now we have this right here, top comment from Corey Knight, who says, I think it would be cool for them to add a rare enemy loot in the game, much like the loot goblins in Diablo 3. You can have different ones that drop different things: crafting materials, upgrade materials, legendary weapons, and armor. As I recall, the Dark Souls franchise, Demon Souls, has the same thing. That would be really, really cool to see. Shoof Banana says, alphas, when you change them while they're charging, you know this isn't how you're supposed to play the game. Village Z says, well, now I feel really dumb trying to get the Torturous Helmet from the Hunch. Yeah, so now you guys at least know the insight into how I think the developers want you to play the game. But I think there needs to be more feedback with this system, and it tells you, hey, these items are going to be over here. You have a better chance of getting your set here. I really, really do think there needs to be more feedback, because without that feedback, what you're going to be seeing from the community is people dropping off. Like, they're going to get frustrated that they can't find, you know, their helmet that they're looking for their set. And it would be nice to be able to go into the menu and say, yeah, you have a better chance playing this type of content, and your percentage will go up this amount. Or perhaps there could be gear items or mods which could up your percentage for obtaining certain items. Something needs to be done to give more feedback to players, in my opinion. All right, furthermore, we have this. Nuke says that level 34 pistol was holding me back this whole time. Now I'm melting Expedition 15 just by equipping a new level 50 pistol. Hell yes. So remember, guys, you got to look at your entire, you know, profile of your character, I guess you would say. And if you are walking around with a weak pistol in terms of its level, that's going to hold back your entire character, including the total health, armor, anomaly, everything, firepower, all of it. So you got to really make sure most of your gear is at max level. All right, let's do this. We have Elvin, who says, had to CT farm forever to get the lava mask. If I see another cannonball piece, I am going to scream. I have heard that so many times. Jace the Face says, never neglect your pistol, the Devastator. Wow, that's a memorable quote. I remember that. Just another user says, that explains why I never got the Scary chest piece from Noah. Bummer. Nick says, I spent all day yesterday and the day before doing hunts for the seismic helmet. So now you guys know the expeditions, but I really do not like how they're forcing us into expeditions. So it's really, really annoying that they force us into that. But I just hope they add more, you know, more content to the game where you can go outside of the expeditions. Again, my opinion is they should add some sort of tier system to the hunts. To the bounty hunts, monster hunts, all sorts of stuff can be done there. To really encourage players to explore the entirety of the content that People Can Fly have worked tirelessly to create. Why waste it, you know? There you have it, the latest happenings around Outriders. Thank you all so much for watching, for all the comments, and I will see you all next time. Take care.